Have you ever looked at a French word and thought, well, this one is easy? I mean, it looks exactly like English, so it has to mean the same thing, right? Wrong. French has a funny way of giving you just enough confidence before pulling the rug right from under you. And honestly, I think these are the most dangerous words in French. Not because they're difficult, but because they look so familiar that your brain stops paying attention. Today, I'm going to be sharing 12 French words that look exactly like English, but mean something completely different. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll never look at these French words the same way again. C'est parti! Bonjour tout le monde, je m'appelle Sumoloa, j'ai appris le français à l'âge adulte et grâce à cette langue, j'ai pu immigrer au Canada avec ma famille. Alors, si vous pensez que le français est difficile, croyez-moi, je vous comprends. All the mistakes I'm going to share today are ones I've made myself or hear very often from my students. And so today, we're going to correct them together. If you're learning French for work, travel, immigration, or simply because you love the language, you're in the right place. And if you're new here, please don't forget to subscribe because every week I help you speak French with confidence. The first word is journée. So sometimes people mistake journée for journey. Let me paint a picture. You've just landed in Paris after a long flight. You're exhausted and probably your French colleague smiles and asks, "Comment était ta journée?" Now, your brain hears journey. And so you start talking about your flight. You could probably say something like, oh, the turbulence was terrible. I almost missed my connection. My luggage didn't arrive. The meal on the plane was horrible. Meanwhile, she's standing there thinking, I literally just asked how your day was. Do you see? Because une journée simply means a day. If you want to talk about your journey, you'd say un voyage. Un voyage. So take a look at this. In French, we would say comment était ta journée, which just means how was your day. Le voyage jusqu'à Paris était très long, which means the journey to Paris was very long. Do you see how easy that was? Your brain sees journey and immediately makes the wrong connection. So please take note of this French word and do not make the mistake. Let's take a look at the next word. Sensible and sensible. Imagine you're introducing your brother to a French friend and you proudly say, mon frère est très sensible. In English, you're probably thinking, okay, that means my brother is sensible. That is, maybe he's responsible, he's wise, he makes good decisions. But that's not what your French friend hears. What they hear is, oh, your brother is really sensitive. Maybe he cries during Disney movies, or maybe he just takes everything personally. So you see, very different person. And in French, instead, you would say, il est très sensible aux critiques. And this means what? He is very sensitive to criticism. But if you meant sensible in English, you'd probably say raisonnable. Il est toujours raisonnable dans ses décisions. So please, this is another one I hear beginners confuse all the time. Do not be one of them. Let's take a look at the next word. Attendre, and you think it means attend. Picture this, you send your colleague a message, j'attends la réunion. And you're thinking, yeah, I'm attending the meeting, nice and professional. Except what you actually said is, I am waiting for the meeting. Attendre means to wait. And so if you want to say, I am attending a meeting, you'd say, j'assiste à la réunion, or je vais assister à la réunion. So you need to be careful. Let me show you another sample just in case you actually want to say you're waiting for someone, okay? You would say, je t'attends devant le cinéma. So you see, tiny difference, very different meaning. So please do not confuse attendre for meaning what? To attend. It doesn't mean that. The next word, I hear this often, people mistaking actuellement for actually. No. This one honestly gets everybody. Seriously. Even advanced learners, if you say actuellement, j'habite à Toronto, what you're saying is, I currently live in Toronto, not I actually live in Toronto. If you want to use the word actually, you'd say en fait. En fait. Actuellement, je travaille dans une entreprise canadienne. And so do you see, that's me saying I am currently working for a Canadian company, currently. But if I want to say actually, let's say an example could be, en fait, je préfère apprendre le français. Do you see? And this just means actually, I prefer learning French. Another example, somebody can ask you, tu habites à Toronto? And so you could say, non. En fait, j'habite à Oakville, mais actuellement, je travaille à Toronto. Do you see how to use both of them? And so, let's take a look at the next French word. This word is envie. Envie. And people sometimes mix it up with envy in English, which means just to be jealous. It's not the same. So imagine your friend just booked a holiday to Bali. You want to say, oh my goodness, I'm so jealous. But instead you say, j'ai de l'envie. And your friend looks confused and says, envie de quoi? Coffee, chocolate, pizza, cookies? Because avoir envie de means like to feel like, to want, to crave something. Do you see? And so in French, you could say, j'ai envie d'un café, which means what? I feel like having a coffee. If you're talking about envy, that's a different word, and that means la jalousie. La jalousie. So this is another easy trap, so please be very careful, okay? Envie doesn't mean envy. Have you noticed what's been happening? These words all look familiar, and that's exactly why I say that they're dangerous. French actually has a name for them, and they're called les faux amis, false friends. And trust me, once you learn this concept, you start spotting them everywhere, okay? So let's keep going. The next one is la librairie. La librairie. And sometimes people confuse this for the library. I hear this so many times, I'm like, no. It ain't the same thing. It's absolutely not the same thing. So imagine you just moved to France. Maybe you're in France for an immersion program and you need a quiet place to study. And so you ask someone, où est la librairie la plus proche? They happily point you down the street, and a few minutes later, you walk in expecting shelves of books you can borrow, but instead you see that people are actually buying the books, because a librairie isn't a library, it's a bookstore. If you're looking for a library, what you need is what? Une bibliothèque. Une bibliothèque. That's what a library is. So you would say, je vais à la librairie pour acheter un dictionnaire. J'étudie à la bibliothèque tous les samedis. Do you see the difference between both of them now? This mistake catches beginners all the time because the words look almost identical. So please be careful. This one surprises a lot of people. So if someone says c'est une location, they're not talking about where something is, okay? They're talking about a rental. So like renting a car, renting a boat, renting a house. Location in English is l'emplacement. L'emplacement. Do you understand? So in French, I can say, nous avons loué une voiture en location, which means like we rented a car. Do you get it? And so maybe if I had a wedding, I can say, l'emplacement est parfait. Definitely don't mix these up. Like I did, and that story is for another day, but please don't mix this up, all right? Let's take a look at the next word. The next word is blessé. Blessé. And I see people sometimes mix it up to mean bless. No, it's not the same. So imagine you want to wish someone well, and you confidently say, que Dieu te blesse. What you meant is, may God bless you, right? But what you actually said is, may God hurt you, okay? It's not the same. It's not definitely not what you intended, because blesser means to hurt, to injure, or to wound. Please be very careful. So let's say when I tell someone I didn't want to hurt you, what would you say? You would say, je ne voulais pas te blesser. But if you want to say God bless you, you'd say, que Dieu te bénisse. Do you see? Please do not make this mistake. The next French word that I see beginners make a mistake with every time is rester. Rester. And they think that it just means to rest in English. Like, because you've seen rest, your brain just thought you, oh, rester means to rest. No, it's not the same. So imagine after a long walk, your friend says, je vais rester ici. They're not saying I'm going to rest. They're saying I'm going to stay here. If you want to say rest, instead you'd say se reposer. Se reposer. So I'm going to rest is what? Je vais me reposer. Je vais me reposer. But I'm going to stay here is je vais rester ici. Je vais rester ici. Let's take a look at the next French word. The next word is demander. Demander. And sometimes people think it means to demand. Nope. This one confused some students of mine recently. People just hear demander and think, oh, that sounds rude. Not at all. Because you're thinking it means to demand, like I demand you to stop speaking, or I demand you to pick up the socks from the floor, or I demand you to pick up your telephone. So it's not rude, like, because that's not what it means in the French language. The French people use this word every single day, and it simply means to ask. Demander means to ask, that's all. So I can say, je vais demander à mon professeur. Je vais demander à mon professeur. If you are demanding something from someone, that's exiger. So please do not be afraid to use the word demander. It's one of the most common verbs in the French language. Let's take a look at the next French word. The next French word, figure. Figure. And people sometimes mistake this for figure. So if someone were to look at you and say, tu as une drôle de figure aujourd'hui, they're not talking about a mathematical figure or even the figure in English. So you know how in English you can say, oh wow, she has an amazing figure. No, it's not the same thing. Please do not be mistaken. They're talking about your face. Basically, this, your face, okay? So I can say, il a une figure sympathique. You freeze for a second. Like, what does the person mean? Like, do I look fat? Is something wrong with my figure? What's going on with my body? But please don't worry. They are not talking about your body at all. Like, they are not. In French, une figure often just means your face, like your face. Maybe you look tired, maybe you look stressed, maybe you just woke up 5 minutes ago. They're just simply saying you look a little different today. Like you look a little strange today, okay? So please do not make a mistake with that word. And now the next French word is préservatif. Préservatif. Now, I saved my favorite one until the end because this actually happened to me. A few years ago, my daughter, my husband, and I were in Montpellier, and I guess she was about a year old, maybe 14 months or thereabout, or maybe 13 months, about a year old. Normally, we would make like fresh fruit smoothies for her ourselves, you know, but since we're traveling, obviously we didn't have a blender. So went into like a supermarket or like a petite pharmacie just to look for baby food, and I wanted something as natural as possible. And so I confidently walked up to one of the employees and I said in French, I kid you not, guys, "Excusez-moi, est-ce que vous avez des produits pour bébé sans préservatif?" He looked at me, he paused, and then he said, "Pardon?" So Kesamo was repeating herself again, happily saying, "Est-ce que vous avez des produits pour bébé sans préservatif?" Because maybe I thought probably it was like a language barrier or something was happening here. And this guy was looking confused. And so I said it again, "Je cherche des produits sans préservatif." I still remember because he smiled. I still cringe actually. He smiled and he very politely explained to me that the word that I was looking for was conservateur. That's the word. Conservateur. Yeah. Because in English, preservatives, you don't want anything with preservatives, but in French, préservatif, it doesn't mean preservatives, it means condom. There we have it. To this day, my husband still laughs anytime I tell that story because honestly, I laugh at me. You can hear me laughing because people make these mistakes. Imagine me thinking that, okay, that's just the word, because I don't think I've ever had any instance where I've actually had to use the word preservatives, even that much in English, talk less of in French. So my brain just assumed, okay, you know, it's the same word, just instead of a V, just add an F to make it sound bougie in French. And well, it wasn't. But anyways, that's how we learn, right? Because if you don't make mistakes, how would you learn? We make mistakes, we remember them, and trust me, I have never made that mistake again, and I would never make that mistake again. And so if I actually had found the baby food, which I eventually did, and he wanted to say, like, this product contains no preservatives, this is what you would say instead. Ce produit ne contient pas de conservateur. Okay? Please don't mix these two up. And so, isn't it funny? The words that usually embarrass us in French aren't even the difficult ones. They are the ones that look so familiar that we don't even stop to question them. And that's why false friends catch almost every learner. But now, you know better. And please, I hope the next time you see one of these words, you would pause for just 1 second before translating it. So like just pause and then you can try and translate it if you want. That 1 second could save you from a very awkward conversation. Now, if you're serious about improving your French, I have something that will help you. When I was learning French, one of the hardest parts wasn't the grammar. It wasn't pronunciation. It was constantly wondering, what do I study next? Imagine never having to ask yourself that question again. That's exactly what my French Fluency Guide helps you do. It gives you a clear roadmap all the way from A1 to C1, showing you exactly what to learn at each stage so you're never guessing. Take a look at these testimonials. These are real students who have used the guide to study with confidence instead of feeling overwhelmed. I have linked it in the description below, just right here, just the first line, that's what you will see here. Go and grab your copy. Oh wait, and before you leave, tell me in the comments, which false friend surprised you the most? I would love to know. If you enjoyed today's video, please do not forget to give it a like, share with anyone so that they don't make this mistake. Please share with your friends, your family, your acquaintances. Let them not make this mistake. And please subscribe, okay? Merci beaucoup, à bientôt et à la prochaine.